Even after being rejected, Kageyama and Tsukishima still held a good and strong friendship. It was something nobody could get rid of. Something that one would say was an inseparable relationship. Even then, however, Kageyama tried to ask Tsukishima out. He wouldn't stop hoping that one day, the blonde was going to feel the same. That one day, Tsukishima would be the one asking him to go on a date. It was all Kageyama dreamed of. That one day, the two could be together. But for now, Kageyama just had to keep trying. He didn't want to give up just yet. Tsukishima was currently sitting up in Kageyama's bedroom. The Ravenet had finished his volleyball practice a couple of minutes before the two went over to his place. Tsukishima had picked the raven up. Kageyama was taking a quick cold shower as Tsukishima waited on his bed. Tsuki could hear the front door of the house opening, shutting closed after a couple of seconds. Tobio, we're home. The blonde heard unfamiliar voices coming from downstairs, confused. Tsukishima shrugged, standing up and grabbing the doorknob to the bathroom. He didn't exactly have a clear idea of what he was doing. All he knew was that he was going to inform the Ravenet about who was downstairs. He opened the door to the bathroom and walked right in. Kags. The two stared at each other. Tsukishima stared at the Ravenet, face flushing red as he took in the view. Kageyama was holding onto the neatly folded towel that sat on the sink, body soaked in water droplets, having no clothes on whatsoever. The Ravenet quickly wrapped the towel around his waist, looking away from the blonde. There's people downstairs. I think they were calling for you, Tsukishima said, ignoring what he had just walked into. Kageyama slightly gulped, nodding. Can you tell them I'll be down in a bit, please? Kageyama asked, rubbing the back of his neck as he looked up at the bathroom ceiling. Tsukishima nodded, leaving the bathroom and closing the door. Kageyama let out a sigh of relief, rubbing his face as he leaned against the sink. The blonde walked down the stairs, looking in the kitchen and seeing two grown women. Hello, he greeted, wondering who they were. Hi, you must be one of Tobio's friends. One of them spoke, looking over at the man with the small smile plastered on her face. The other woman eyed him, confused as to why he was there. Yeah, my name is Tsukishima K. Kag said he would be down in a couple of minutes, he said. What's he doing? The woman who eyed him asked. The blonde's mind automatically went back to what he saw. He just got out of the shower, he responded. The two women hummed, nodding. Well, my name is Ambra. This is my wife, Santi. We're Tobio's aunts. The first woman who had talked to him spoke. It's very nice to meet you, Kay. It's nice to meet you too as well. Right when Tsukishima was going to excuse himself back upstairs, Kageyama came walking down the stairs. He waved at his aunts with a small smile on his face, standing beside the tall blonde. Tobio, here we've bought you some cookies. A friend baked them. Oh, thank you. And Ambra, come on Tsukishima, let's go back up. Kageyama smiled. He normally would have stayed for a while longer to chat with the two in the kitchen. However, he didn't want them to embarrass him in front of Tsukishima. It was something he didn't want to risk. He grabbed a hold of the blonde's arm, holding the brownies in his free hand. Kageyama dragged Tsukishima upstairs and back into the safety of his bedroom, locking his door. With a small sigh, the Ravenet placed the plate of brownies on his desk. Tsukishima felt odd. It felt as if he should apologize for what happened in the bathroom. Any sane person would. At least, that's what he's been told over the years. Hey, sorry for just walking in on you like that, he said. It felt weird to apologize, since he's never done it before. Huh? Why are you apologizing? Kageyama questioned, turning around to look at the blonde. I'm apologizing because I should have knocked before walking into the bathroom. You know, I'm not that type of person, Tsukishima spoke. Kageyama simply stared. Oh, you don't have to apologize. It was an accident after all. Plus, we're both guys and friends. It shouldn't matter, Kageyama replied, or more so asked. It seemed as if he was asking himself more than the blonde, trying to convince himself it was as simple as that. Right, well, I'm starving. Tsukishima sighed, flopping down on the bed onto his back. Kageyama giggled, shaking his head. He grabbed the brownies and took them to the bed. Sitting down beside the blonde, Here, we can share. The two had eaten the whole batch of brownies, the empty plate sitting on the bedside table. Kageyama was searching through his closet for an outfit. Tsukishima simply looked around the room. The two were planning on heading out to the cafe for a cup of coffee. Tsukishima's eyes fell upon a bulletin board filled with pictures of Kageyama and a couple of his friends. The blonde's curious mind couldn't help but look at every single picture. He could see the ravinette with many old friends of his, a couple of his own here and there too. It seemed as if his old high school friends had met and befriended Kageyama. It brought a small smile to his face. Then, he came across a separate portion of the bulletin board with different pictures. It seemed to be an area that was cherished the most by Kageyama. It was pictures of Kags when he was younger, around the ages of 5 through 13, around the time that Tsukishima couldn't seem to remember after his accident. As he looked closely at the pictures, he came to realize that they were pictures with only Kageyama and a blonde. The blonde seemed to be taller than the ravinette from a very young age up until the very last photo of the two on the bulletin board. The blonde also had amber eyes, just like his own, wore glasses, just like his own. He also seemed to be thin, just like himself. The boy looked awfully similar to Tsukishima when he was younger, which caused a rather strong headache. That was an old friend of mine before I moved here. Last time I heard, he was still with his parents in Tokyo after I left, Kageyama suddenly said. Huh? Oh, he kinda looks like me when I was younger, Tsukishima said. The ravinette grew silent, fiddling with his fingers. Tsuki took notice, looking down at the man. What's wrong? He asked. Kageyama looked up, shaking his head. It's nothing, it's just, never mind, Kageyama mumbled, grabbing his outfit and deciding to change right then and there. Moving further into the room, behind the blonde, Tsukishima slightly tilted his head to the side, looking over at the raven. The atmosphere felt the same as it did in the bathroom. The two simply stared as Kageyama pulled off his shirt. The ravinette gulped, taking off his clothes. Tobio, Tsukishima, saying his name in a husky voice, sent shivers down Kageyama's spine. Why yeah, who is that kid? It's you, Tsukishima, that's you. To be continued.